A spark cracked. A loud pop echoed. And then came the sweetest scream I'd ever heard from over the fence. Vanessa Reed, my entitled neighbor, wailing as if her designer boots had burst into flames. Technically, it was her son's ATV Charger that caught fire. And technically, she'd earned it. You don't siphon power from an electrical engineer and expect a free pass. Not after I warned her, not after the HOA brushed me off. And definitely not after she laughed and said, "It's just a little juice. Chill out." Oh, I chilled out. All right. I chilled out by lighting up her backyard with enough voltage to turn her knockoff ATV into a barbecue grill. But let's rewind. You need the full story of how we arrived at this electric karmic masterpiece. Because it didn't start with sparks. It started with a tiny blip on my energy monitor. I'm Ethan Carter, not just some guy with a toolbox and a grudge. I'm a systems engineer who designs power grids for data centers. Electricity is my playground. So when my solar inverter flagged odd drains during quiet hours, I noticed most wouldn't, but I'm wired differently. I live in a sleepy neighborhood where folks boast about trimmed lawns and organic mulch. I keep to myself, tweaking my home system, tracking quirks. That week, I spotted it. Every night, 1 to 3 a.m., a 1.88 kWh dip unmatched by my appliances. Not the AC, not the hot tub, not my battery backup. Something outside was leaching. That's when I suspected Vanessa, the power vampire next door. You know her type. Oversized sunglasses, a voice like a megaphone, zero grasp of boundaries. She'd moved in 2 years ago post-divorce, trailing chaos, brunch hangovers, HOA rule bending. She somehow dodged. Her hobby inventing neighborhood laws, wielding the HOA like a scepter. She once scolded a kid for skateboarding near her roses. Lately, she'd fixated on an electric ATV for her teenage son. Loud, gaudy, and power-hungry. I first saw the clue while pruning bushes, a yellow extension cord slithering over my fence, vanishing behind my shed. No way, I thought. I had no outdoor outlets there, unless she wouldn't. That night, I shut off all exterior breakers but one. Next morning, the log showed a dip at 2:12 a.m. I traced the fence cord gone, retracted, but I'd snapped photos. Time to talk. I rang her bell calm, hoping it was a mistake. She answered in leggings and a sun hat, clutching a smoothie like a suburban monarch. I mentioned the drain, asked if her son had tapped my power. She grinned. Oh, that. Yeah. We borrowed a little charge. Our garage panel's down. You've got solar, right? You won't miss it. That's not how it works. I said, it's theft and it messes with my grid. She patted my arm. Relax, tech guy. It's not like we're hot wiring your car. I left, fuming, gears turning. I reported it to the HOA. They promised to investigate. 3 days later, I got a letter warning me about hostile neighbor conduct and unsafe fence mods. Vanessa had flipped it, claiming I'd rigged traps to shock her family. Stunned, I ditched defense. She'd plugged into my world. Game on. She didn't know who she'd provoked. I've built backup grids for hospitals on scraps and coffee. She thought I was a nerd with panels. She didn't know I'd make her joy ride a bonfire. That night, I sketched a trap, a decoy outlet, legal, safe, but brutal to overeager chargers. I installed it on my side, angled to look neglected, wired to a surge circuit. It would fry anything pulling over 3 amps. House gear safe. ATV charger doomed. 3 nights later, the cord returned. At 2:17 a.m., my log spiked. A blue flash lit my shed. A pop rang out. And Vanessa's shriek split the silence. Her son, in pajama pants, bolted out, gaping as his ATV smoked. I grinned wide as thin. This was just the start. Morning brought Vanessa stomping around, yelling about sabotage, calling officials. I sipped coffee, watching from my window. The cord vanished. The ATV tarped like evidence. She didn't learn. She escalated. An HOA lackey. Miles showed up. Clipboard in tow. You can't rig outlets on shared lines. He barked, citing rules Vanessa had twisted. I explained it was my property. Code compliant. I didn't mention the surge loop. Safe for people, lethal to thieves. He scribbled, muttering about reviews. I offered a muffin. He declined. She doubled down so I'd step up. Not petty, but precise. I upgraded the trap, added a data logger in a birdhouse, alerting my phone to draws, triggering spikes if thresholds hit. I set cameras, shed, her yard, fence, all cloud-backed. I dangle the decoy cord rigged to fry if yanked. For nights later, 1:42 a.m. alerts 2.7 Quat-hours. Surge tripped. The feed showed a flash, a spark. The ATV wheezing smoke. Her son flailed, unplugging too late. Twice now, all recorded. I took screenshots to the HOA. Clara, the desk clerk, gaped. She plugged in without asking. Twice. Check Section 8B, utility theft, I said. She frowned. Vanessa had allies. Remove outlets to de-escalate, she advised. Clara, this HOA finds mailbox hues, but ignores her stealing. I could go off-grid for months. I don't need your rules. Enforce them or I'm taking this to the city. She boked. I left. That night, Vanessa pounded my door, furious. What did you do to my ATV? No clue, I said. Your son's traumatized. Maybe stop stealing power. She threatened a lawsuit. I flashed my logs and shut the door. She didn't knock again, but I knew she'd strike back. 3 days later, a cop, Officer Hayes, arrived. She'd claimed I'd rigged a death trap. I showed him footage, logs, schematics, safe, legal, thief-proof. He chuckled. Theft, plain and simple. You're solid. As he left, Vanessa glared from across the street, daring me. I stayed cool. Bigger moves brewing. The HOA mailed a $500 fine for hazardous installs. I countered with photos, videos, and CC'd the city and utility board. Then neighbors approached Luke Fancy Grill, Ellen Waver, the Patels, caterers, noticing odd power dips. Luke's fridge warmed overnight. Ellen's lights reset. The Patels lost a freezer. Did Vanessa ask to use your outlets? Bingo. They'd all felt it. We met over coffee, watched my tapes, laughed, formed Shakalad. 23 members by dusk. She tapped half the block. Garden ports, RV hookups. We locked outlets, set decoys. At the HOA meeting, we rolled in with evidence. Vanessa deflected. Exaggeration. Jealousy. But Neil, her ally, squirmed. We showed bills, logs. Her ATV spiked costs. She screamed about community power. The room roared. Neil couldn't save her. Her privileges were suspended. Fines loomed. It grew. Her parties ran on stolen juice. Lights, fridges, karaoke. I sent data to the utility board. 3,000 Quat-hours stolen. $1,800 owed. They launched an investigation. She ignored their inspection notice, earning a subpoena. Neighbors cheered vindication. The HOA ousted cronies, elected Gina, a firefighter who banned utility theft outright. Vanessa's yard fell silent. ATV sold, parties dead, her son mowing lawns, humbled, she tried to come back, posing flowers in a loud tracksuit, blasting tunes. No one bit. One day, she apologized. Quiet, tired. I messed up. It's never harmless taking what's not yours, I said. She nodded, left. I didn't buy it fully, but maybe she'd learned. My porch was calm that night. Tea in hand, sun setting. No spikes, no cords, just peace. Hardwired by me. Neighbors waved. Kids biked. Free. Vanessa was done. Unplug for good.